Hello there everyone, this is Dando with another tutorial on how to set up VTuber assets. And today we're going to be setting up the leash and collar asset that I have available on my Etsy shop. If you don't have that already and you're in this video, I have no idea how you got here, but welcome in and make sure to download those on the description below. Now what we're going to do here is make sure that the model files are in the right location. So we're going to hit that little peach button at the top, hit this import your own model button down here, and it should take you to the folder, if I press open folder, to the folder that we need for the assets. So what we're going to do is we're going to load up the assets in here by dragging the files that you got. So you should have gotten a file where if you open the folder, it looks like this, right? So you're going to drag the entire folder, get the whole folder, and then drag it in, okay? So once it's in there, it'll look like that. And we just keep it like this. Now, if you go back into your Vtube studio, you might find that it has not been updated and you can't find it in here. It's like, oh no, where'd it go? If that's the case, just restart your Vtube studio and it should update. Now, once you're in here and you can see that asset right there, boom, I'm going to load it up. Yours will probably have an icon. Mine does not at the moment because I haven't set it yet. Now from here, you should see a little collar pop up. Oh, how cute. A little collar, a little floating collar. Now from here, what we're going to do is we're going to set up the settings, right, by hitting that little gear. And we're going to go over to the hotkey settings and expression. Now from here, what we're going to do is we're going to just set the hotkeys that we personally want. Okay. Now this is the bundle pack, meaning there are different types of collars included. So these are preset. So if I hit F5, turns into the spike collar. If I hit F6, it is the red collar. F7 is the princess collar. So if you want to be able to switch back between them, like during your stream, you can set a hotkey for all of them. But if you don't really care, or if you only really want to use one for the time being, you can just hit the toggle now and then unbind the toggle so that you don't accidentally switch it later. Now from there, you're going to see the other three up here: pull leash, collar back slider, and the leash toggle. The pull leash should by default be set to the letter P. So if I hit P, it will pull. It's like, oh, but that's weird. It's pulling, but there's nothing there. That's because we have to hit the leash toggle as well, which is L in this case. So L, if you notice right there, it opens the latch and hooks in, and then we're going to hit the P, and then it pulls. So you can actually have your chat pulling you via the hotkey, all right? And then the leash goes away. So you can keep the collar on while the leash goes in and out whenever you need it. Now the other one you'll see is collar back slider. So the collar back slider, what this one is going to be a little bit different. We're actually going to go into the expression editor and we're going to go to the collar slider. Now the collar slider is this little bit right here that moves the back of the collar forward and back until you get it to about a thickness that you like. So if you're maybe a smaller character with a thinner neck, you probably want to keep it at 5. If you're maybe got a little bit of a thicker neck, you want to keep it at 0. It's kind of up to you, right? Whatever kind of fits. So if I wanted to, I could keep it at that number since that fits mine, and I can just save that so that whenever I hit the collar back slider button, which I have unbound right now, let's just make it tab for a second. If I hit tab, boom, it will now be at that length that I want it to be, and then I'm just going to unbind it like that, and then it'll stay like that. All right, now if you want to be able to switch back and forth between the two settings, you can keep that key combination. Otherwise, you can just get rid of it so you don't accidentally hit it again. Right? There may be a little bit of back and forth with this because you got to make sure that it fits your model, and you can't really have your model and this open at the same time. So but luckily you can always just scale your model in and out a little bit. So, but this is just a little bit of fine tuning if you want it. All right, so now that all these are set, what we're going to do is we're going to make it so that this becomes an item in Vtube Studio, which is pretty simple. I'm just going to get out of here, double click the screen, go over to this little green star right here, and then we're going to load current model as live 2D item. It's going to ask this. We say yes. Now you can modify some of the dragging physics. There's no physics on this one specifically. It's mostly just a flat image. Since everyone's model's so different, if this thing was moving around all crazy, you would see the gap between the neck really easily, like all the time, and it would just get wonky. So we purposely did not put a lot of physics on it. So you can just save or cancel, doesn't matter. If you want to add some multiply screens, let's say you want to make this a slightly different color. I believe this one's called belt. You can also just kind of click and then it'll show belt right there. If you want, you can kind of change the multiply, which will just make it darker. It's like you're applying the blue over here. You can also apply a screen color as well, just like that. This one was not designed for customization of the colors, so it does get a little bit wonky, so I wouldn't recommend doing anything too crazy. I just wanted to kind of keep the red color for the most part. But we're going to turn that off. All right, but we got our little red collar right here, and what we're going to do is we're going to test those hotkeys. I have it so that I have it so that L makes the leash come out, P pulls on it, and then we're going to no longer pull and leash. So the combination would be leash, pull, pull, leash. That's the animation that you're kind of looking for. Okay. Now, if you notice, why is there two colors? It's because one is loaded up as a model and then the other one is an item. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to my VTuber model right here. And mine, there you go. And here's my VTuber model, and I could just put that collar right on. Whoop. Sorry about that. VTube Studio decided to lag. So I can put the collar right on, and then I can latch on the leash and pull the leash. Ah! Right? And if I wanted to, I can change up the type of leash, just like that, and it should work just the same. Leash, pull, pull, leash. All right, and then the other one, the princess one, leash, pull, pull, leash. Okay? All right, and that's basically how it's done. Now, if you want to set this up with your bot, I will go over that as well. Now, we have a couple of bots that most people use, so we're going to do Mix It Up, and we're going to be doing BikuBot. BikuBot's the one I like to use, but Mix It Up works just fine. So you want to go ahead and make a new channel point reward, or if you already have one, you can add it to an existing reward. But essentially, we're going to come in here, press the Edit Command button, and then this should pop up, something like this. I've already gone ahead and set this up. Now, this looks crazy, but it's actually not that bad. All this is the exact same thing I was pressing on the keys, right? L, which is make the leash come out. P, which is to pull the leash. I have a sound, that's personal preference. If you guys want to do that, you can do that as well. And then I have P, which is unpull the leash. And then we have one final one here. There we go. Which is L, which is let go or let the leash unlatch. All right, that's all it is. I like to put these little wait timers in between because if you do it too quickly, it's a little awkward. So having a little delay in between each command does make it a little bit more fluid. So if I were to try to play this, and sorry, sometimes the preview doesn't work very well. I'm going to try to test the command. There we go. And yeah, so it worked. Now, something you can also do is something like a play sound. I actually need to change this over to that one so you guys can hear. We're going to try it one more time and we'll see if this will work. Test the command. Sit, boy! Yep. And then it should release. There we go. Now you can modify this however you want. You can make it so that the leash pulls for a little bit longer, or you can make it so that the delays aren't there. It's kind of up to your preference, right? So once you're done with that, just make sure to hit the save button, and there you go. You have the command for a leash pull from your chat. Now, we're also going to do this in BikuBot, but it is pretty much the same. You go into points, you're going to, I'm just going to say that real quick. Where you're going to points, you would make a new redemption. I already went ahead and made one. It's called Sit Boy. And it's the exact same thing. I could set things like a cooldown, all that stuff here as well, but it's the exact same thing. You press L, you wait a second, you press P, you wait another second, you press M, which is the hotkey for my soundboard, which will play the Sit Boy command. So if I press M right now, Sit Boy, there it is. So it will play that audio, and then it will wait for 5 seconds. So it'll pull on the leash for about 5 seconds. It will then release the pull, and then it will completely let go of the leash altogether. So if I hit the play button on that one, it should be exactly the same as what we just saw. Sit Boy! It makes me laugh every time. And there we go. Perfect. All right, and then you just go ahead and save that, and then there you go. Just make sure that when you are doing these commands on both of the bots, you are using the input buttons, right? Or in this case over here on BikuBot, the key press. If you try to use something like the Vtube Studio hotkey, sometimes it gets a little funky depending on what your hotkeys are. So I do recommend most likely doing it through the key press instead if you can. I just had a lot of problems with doing it with more of the integrated systems and everything like that, even with the voice mod and the Vtube Studio ones. I just had a lot of problems with it. So the key press ones are more accurate and more surefire way of getting these to work. But if you guys can get it to work with any of these functions, please let me know, because I'd like to know how you did it. All right, and we're going to do one final test. We're going to make sure that it works on my chat. All right, so we're going to go to twitch.tv/DandoArt, which is my Twitch. I'm going to go over to my chat. I'm actually going to pop out the chat. There we go. And then from here, we're going to find that command. We have Sit Doggy and Sit Boy. This is the one from Mix It Up, and this is the BikuBot. We're just going to hit the BikuBot one for today. Sit Boy! And it works just perfectly. And then it releases. There we go. And that's all it takes. Now, if you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. That does it for our tutorial today. If you guys want any other tutorials on how to set up VTuber assets, please let me know. Or if you want to suggest other kinds of VTuber assets, I am more than open to that. Someone even suggested having a contest on people designing their own collars. And the ones that win, I will make and put on my Etsy shop. I haven't figured out if I want to do that yet, but that does sound like a fun idea. But yeah, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube, follow me on my socials, go to my Etsy shop and get any of my other assets that I have available, or go to my Ko-Fi where you can find adoptable VTuber designs. And finally, if you do want to commission me for actual VTuber art where it's fully cut, you can go ahead and follow me on my VGen. But thank you guys once again for watching. Appreciate all of you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I had to keep it on the princess one, didn't I? I just had to keep it on the princess one.